Yo, party people in the place to be. What's good? It's number one Chief Rock and Knicks Universe, your main man, Uncle Freezie. I'm joined by the man that is so smooth. He does not require a chaser. You know, you got to be smooth as hell. You know what I'm saying? If you don't require a chaser, it's our
Absolutely
man.
not.
It's our main man. It's the most knowledgeable Knicks fan in Blorange Tears universe and Knicks universe. Anthony D. Happy New Year, bro.
Happy New Year, Uncle Freezie.
Bem.
Happy New Year to Nick Nation and all those who are not Nick fans and everybody. You know, we're blessed to see 2023. Hopefully you feel the same.
Yep.
Thank you for rocking with us. Me and Freezie was talking about last week that we've been on for over a year.
Yes.
We've been on for over a
Rocking
year.
the spot.
Rocking the spot over a
man.
year. And here we are again. I don't know what you want to talk about. So
is Tom Thibodeau Hubie Brown?
Well, he comes from that tree.
Right. Is Tom Thibodeau this generation's Hubie Brown?
He comes from that tree. I mean, you know, let's go back to the Dallas game for a second.
Okay. Which Dallas game?
The Dallas game.
The one because we lost
60,
both of them.
60-20-10.
Okay.
You know, the first in basketball NBA history, 60-20-10.
Right.
I'm watching the game, and I was just having this conversation a few minutes ago. Uncle Freezie, at no point in time, I thought the Knicks were going to lose that game.
Right.
They were beating Dallas from pillar to post.
Right.
Luka was killing, absolutely, but you didn't really know he had those kind of numbers until like coming to the end, and I didn't think he'll hit the 50.
Right.
I was like, all right, we're going to win. You know, he'll get 46, 47. We'll win, whatever. Okay, fine.
Right.
50. The man goes for 60.
Right.
And to your point, is he the Hubie Brown? Yeah, he has Hubie traits because I'm not going to let Luka just cook like that.
Right.
And not show him something different. I get it. Right. Everybody was tired. You know, you're only playing 8. That's still your fault.
Right.
Okay. Because it's not like you didn't have, you know, players that were dressed.
Right.
You opted, you know, to play who you had and whatever. And, you know, the game comes down to calamities and all kind of nonsense, not grabbing rebounds, not hitting free throws, leaving 7-footers open for 3-point shots. And, you know, Randall disappears, of course, you know, because that's what he does in those type of moments, you know. But yeah, that was Hubie like.
That was,
you know,
Hubie
going
Brown.
with the same. Grimes is a good defender. Yeah. McBride is a good defender. Yeah.
Right.
Quickly's becoming a better defender. Yeah.
Right.
Each one of them up barely, maybe 6'4". Maybe Grimes is 6'4". I'll give him that. I've heard them listening at 6'5".
Right.
I'll give him 6'4". Luka's 6'7", 6'8". He sees over them.
Right.
He shoots over them.
So even if you double team with those two, they'll make a difference because they still small.
Double teaming with those two? They still small.
Right.
You know, you have to show with a big.
Right.
You know, to at least to get him to pass the ball and get it back. Slow it up a little bit.
Right.
And in that sense, his game management, his game calling in that game was bad.
Well, let me say this. I think it was great for 3 quarters.
For 3 quarters, yeah, down the stretch. Excuse me.
Down the stretch. It was the team was out of gas and he should have recognized it.
Yeah. Even to waste a timeout, and I said this, even to waste a timeout to give you guys a blow. Pause. To give you guys a moment to, you know, to catch their breath because they was gassed.
Right. I think his major mistake in that game. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I fasted for 2 days and I just ate something last night, bro. and I'm doing all kind of inhuman stuff right now. Yo, legit, I fasted so that I can kind of get back in the routine of working out, doing the 5x5 at the gym, trying to improve my deadlift, trying to improve my bench press. I'm trying to get my back shoulders rocked up. You know what I'm saying?
I hear. But are you heading back into the ring again?
No.
Because last year this time we were at that place where you were training and you were thinking about training to get back into the ring.
So I went. Okay. So full disclosure, I'll just let everything out. Okay. So I went to the gym with the kids, and they kind of got me excited, right? Kind of, they like, and these are the little kids. Wow, really, Uncle Freezie? You boxed in the 1980s? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I boxed in the 80s. Yo, you older than my mama. You know what I'm saying? This is like the little kids talking, right? I'm showing them stuff. Like the non-athletes, I'm showing them little techniques and stuff. Like how if you keep you keep your knees bent and your elbows tucked, regardless how fast or how powerful your opponent is, they have to punch over the top of stuff and you won't get knocked out. So I'm showing them, and they come back like a week later. They're like, yo, I'm thinking about going pro. I'm like, slow down, little boy, you 11. You know what I'm saying? Like, slow down, kid. You only been doing this for a week. Are you tough? Look, mama's coming up there. Mama's coming up to the gym. Like, whatever you said to him, I find it disrespectful because now he's bucking up at my boyfriend. And I'm asking, well, how long he been your boyfriend? They ain't know your business. We've been together 2 weeks. Well, that's why he's bucking up. It don't have nothing to do with what he learned in the gym. It has something to do with you. You introduce your kids to a man and y'all only been together 2 weeks. Right? So anyway, all this stuff happens, and so I get inside the ring, bro. I had no idea how out of shape I was. I climb up in the ring, step up under the rope, and you know the mat is a little springy, right? Like when you walk on it, you get a little bounce. Feel. Right. AD, can I tell my version, please? I just want to tell my version of it. Right? So
Spider Rico.
$50 just to get beat up. But anyway. So I'm showing the kids the thing. The trainer they had, he was kind of like Tibbs, a dude that yells all the time.
Okay.
With me, I'm like, hey man, drop your elbow a little bit here. You want to show, only thing you want to show is your belt line. Where your trunks come up at, you want to keep your elbows right there, and you want to have your chin tucked behind. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to have your hands up so high that you present another target. What's the point?
Freezie, let me ask you a quick question. When you get hit there for the first time at the belt line, what does that feel like?
It feels like you want to crap your pants. Immediately, though. Not like, oh, my stomach hurting. You know, you clenching up everything, bro. It's one of those. So I'm explaining to the kids, like, yo, the best thing, if you want to last in the game, and this is me, this is the reason why I caught the fever. This is the reason why I caught the bug. Because then a dude comes in about my age. He boxed in the Navy. He had been around town. Dude, I don't want to say Freddie. So okay. So he, you know, we live in the same town. Man, yo, Army boxers ain't nothing, man. I beat Marines and Army guys. You know, this the talk, right? So me and him push around in the ring or whatever. We ain't doing no boxing. We doing a whole bunch of old man clutching and grabbing and all that stuff. And the kids is like, yo, Uncle Freezie, you still got it. And I'm like, maybe I do still have it. So I hit the bag a little bit. I'm popping the bag, all this stuff in the gym. They're like, oh my God. And the little kids, basically, just to sum it up for the sake of saving time. The little kids are like, yo, hey, Uncle Freezie, can you be my full-time coach? And I'm like, AD, you know, when you get to a certain age, like at our age, we really don't have time for like 9 and 10-year-olds at our age. There are things that we like to do in life that we like to do without. I don't want to sacrifice it for 8 or 9 year olds.
Coaching you is not one of them.
Right. Basically, right.
Uh-huh.
So I get the bug, and then I see a Shannon Briggs video where he out there doing his thing, and I'm like, man, if I shed, because I was going to shed the 70 pounds anyway. I was like, if I shed these 70 pounds, I'll challenge Shannon Briggs on the internet. I'll just go out and put a little thing. I'll tag him in a video. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll whoop your blah, blah, chump. I'll whoop your rump, chump. You know what I'm saying? This is, Shannon Briggs made $10 million in 2022, right? Off boxing. Yes.
Was your promoter?
I think he's still fighting.
No.
Yeah, bro. You don't see, you never saw the 50 and over circuit?
No, I thought that was just Mike Tyson and stuff fooling around.
Oh.
I know that Shannon's still out here fighting?
I think so. There's a circuit, bro. There's a circuit down here where I'm at, 50 and up. A senior league, a senior boxing league, bro. I mean, and it's just like everything else. The heavier you are, the more entertaining it is.
I can't imagine taking a shot to the heart. That 50 plus. 50. Oh my God. I heard George Foreman say he hit Muhammad Ali one time under the heart. And he said he felt his body go numb.
Right.
He felt his body go limp.
Right.
And for him to still be able to carry on and take those shots to the rib cage, the liver, the kidneys.
Right. If you want to beat me, you definitely can't hit me in the head. I got the hardest head in the game, bro. And it's one of the reasons why. It's one of the reasons. Okay. So for boxing enthusiasts, I'll let you know what my style is like. My style is like I have the boxing style of a lightweight Mexican fighter. I want to throw a lot of punches, and I'm going to take a lot of shots, and I'm going to eat them.
So you come in face first,
right? But the thing is about having a chin is that you get so used to taking shots, like you're like, oh, that's all you got. But when you go to the body, when you dig to the body, bruh. So I ain't trying to tell nobody where my weakness is, but you dig fat man to the body, I might I might have to change my game plan.
You might spit up the kibbles and bits. Yes,
might. Yeah.
You giving it up?
Yes, bro.
Shout out to the men. And women are out here as, older folks, still, keeping themselves in condition and still wanting to do it. I can't fathom, You
got to protect yourself. You got to have headgear. You got to make sure you're wearing the right size gloves. You know what I'm saying? You got to make sure that you in shape. Go check. Make sure you check with a healthcare professional. Make sure you have a personal relationship with your doctor and they understand what it is that you're trying to do.
There's some people that shouldn't be professional fighters.
I understand.
Do you remember this cat? And he was just a fighter because he was in kickboxing early and all that. Randall Tex Cobb.
I remember Randall Cobb.
Who also was an actor.
Right.
Randall Cobb, if, for old heads who remember this, one night, Larry Holmes on national TV on Channel 7 in front of Howard Cosell, who then gave up boxing on air. Larry Holmes beat the shit out of Randall Tex Cobb. And Randall just kept coming.
Because he didn't know no better.
He didn't know no better. You see Holmes is there calling the ref, and Holmes is like, come on, what do you want me to do? You want me to kill this dude? He's round after round.
Right.
He's just taking he doesn't even see the punches coming in. They're coming in combinations, death blows.
Right.
Targeted headshots.
You know why? Because it wasn't his fault. It's his corner's fault.
Oh yeah.
Right. And so it's his corner's fault for multiple reasons, right? For one, When a boxer finds out you have a hole in your guard, he is gonna pick at it and pick at it and pick at it and pick at it, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's up to your corner to say, hey man, let's change your defensive stance. Let's do something, you know what I'm saying, different here.
How about
And
throwing in the
second,
towel?
yeah, well, I was gonna get to that. Secondly, and most importantly, or more important than the first point, than the hole in the guard is this. If you are outclassed, you have to understand that you're outclassed, right? And so your strategy has to be different. Your strategy has to be, I can't just go and trade with him. I have to knock him out, right? I have to knock him out. That's the only way I'm going to win, right? Because listen, the boxing is all about one shot, one chance. If you land on the button, and you've seen it over the course. You've been watching boxing a long time. You've seen fights where you thought they were over for one guy. He gets hit on the button and he's knocked out cold. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The Anthony Joshua Klitschko fight, right? Where he hits Klitschko with an uppercut, and I swear it's like he was gonna knock Klitschko's head off.
Yeah.
Right.
That's when we thought Joshua was something.
When we thought he was something, but he was actually nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
that's
what you have to do. If you text right there, you got to be like, I'm getting my ass beat anyway. I'm gonna go in here and land this shot on Holmes, right? And if you can't land that shot, your corner got to know. Well, I changed the guard. I can't get this shot off. I got to throw in the towel because I need to save him for later. You know what I'm saying?
And
so you give your fighter a chance.
You could hit Larry.
Yes,
Larry was always prone. Larry was prone for the straight right hand.
Yeah. Yep.
He's prone to the straight right hand. But the thing is, Larry could take a shot.
He had a chin.
Larry could
but
take
he
a
didn't
shot.
have a. Of all the chins out there, like with me, I have an iconic chin and I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I can come in with bad defense and take a shot on the chin and be okay. Right. But that don't mean that's good. That's a very bad thing, right? Because like when you take a shot, you don't learn from that. Like you don't improve your defense because you took a shot. You just saying, hey, I could take a shot, right? The thing is with that is if you don't have a chin, you are more prone to be better defensively. Like if you're a Pernell Whitaker, Sweet Pea, you ain't never. How often you seen Sweet Pea get hit dead on the chin? Never.
Constantly moving.
Right, because he had a below average chin. I've seen when somebody grazed his chin, he was, oh God.
Early.
Yeah.
Early, but he got he got better.
Right.
He got better. And his form of, as we transition to the great Sweet Pea Pernell Whitaker. And I watched that Chavez fight the other day again.
Oh,
I don't know why. I do these things thinking that miraculously the decision is going to be changed.
Yeah, come on, bro.
Something is going to happen. Like he's going to get his arms are going to get raised. He's going to be this
Chavez hit. Chavez used to hit with some sizzling. Yo,
he would absolutely. When you watch him and Mildred Taylor, and you watch that fight. And Taylor would have won the fight if Richard Steele doesn't stop it. In my opinion.
Yeah, I think it
would have been really close.
I think it would have been a split decision. I don't think they would have gave the fight to Taylor. I think he'd have won on split decision because back then you had to protect your money, and I think they would have did that because of Chavez. But if Chavez was a big time prize fighter.
Yes, and it was one of those matches, the 90s. Oh my God, the 90s had really revived what boxing had looked like in the 80s and 70s and even before. And ushering the 90s, you had those early fights. You had Chavez, Taylor, Pernell, Whitaker versus Azuma Nelson.
You remember Azuma?
Oh yeah, Whitaker beat the crap out of Zuma Nelson. He just gave him an absolute clinic.
Right.
And coming into that, Taylor Chavez, it was like the talk. It was like Leonard Duran
Yeah.
all over again,
Right.
you know, and in a lot of ways, it mirrors Leonard Duran
Right.
because he takes, you know, and he's a Philly fighter.
You talking about the 80s? You talking about the 1980 fight, not
No,
the
I'm talking
Nomos
about
fight.
no, I'm talking about Taylor Chavez.
Now I know which one. I know that fight.
Yeah,
But you're referencing the Leonard Duran fight,
the
the
first,
1980 fight. Right.
right, the Montreal.
Right.
And if you look at Taylor after the fight, he had swallowed a pint of his own blood.
Right.
He has a gash here that goes all the way into the bottom lip of his mouth, like it fractured into his mouth, and he was just bleeding from like maybe 6th round on.
And he was poisoning himself.
And he's poisoning himself, right? And when you look at him
but it
after
took
the fight,
man, bro, because when that starts, AD, I ain't gonna lie to you, when that starts happening, your legs go, right?
I'm sure.
So it takes a man to take that punishment that he took.
Yeah.
Yo, if I respect anybody out of that fight, it's Meldrick Taylor for being able to last that long.
I respect him, you know, like all fighters, but his trainer, you know, Georgie Benton and Lou Duva, they did him a disservice.
They did him a disservice.
And especially in the later rounds when they were telling him, and they lied. In later years, there's a boxing documentary called HBO's Greatest Nights in 30 years of boxing, and that was one of the featured fights.
Okay.
And Lou Duva says he told Taylor to box, be like Muhammad Ali in the last round or whatever, and the HBO picks up the mic where they're telling him, you're losing.
Right.
You have to take it. You got to take it to him. You got to take it. They're telling him that.
Right.
And him being a Philly fighter, once he starts in fights, and Philly fighters and Mexican fighters make the best fights
against each other
because it's here.
Right.
We ain't going anywhere. It's
All
right here. It's like you fighting in a telephone booth.
Right.
They're not going anywhere.
Right.
And him not being as seasoned as Chavez, he took a lot of unnecessary punches. When HBO put on the field mics and you hearing blah,
yeah.
Blah,
yeah.
Those are not Taylor to Chavez. Those is Chavez to Taylor.
Yes.
To the body. You hearing like really bone breaking shots that's just like, and look at Mildred Taylor today.
I understand. I understand where you're coming from with how he looks today. But let me tell you this though. I always had I think a lot of fighters cheat. Right? A lot of fighters cheat because don't think about the punishment that Taylor took. Look how fresh Chavez was in the last round. Yeah. Who? Bro, who? That's the reason why when cats talk to me about Pacquiao, they're like, "Oh man, Pacquiao." I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it because you don't turn 30 and then become an all-time great, right? And you don't have this type of stamina in like the 12th round of a fight, bro. I understand Manny Pacquiao, pound for pound, in terms of what he does in a gym, is fanatical, right? The best boxer I've ever seen in person, like we occupied the same air, is Oscar De La Hoya. But I saw Oscar De La Hoya at 15. I saw what he did to a punching bag, bro. I saw dudes having like, wait a minute, Oscar. They had to go take out electrical tape and wrap up the bag so he wouldn't ruin another bag, bro.
Devastating left hand.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So for the Oscar De La Hoyas, I get it, right? For the Terrell Biggs of the world, just naturally talented, just a natural athlete, right? Just naturally gifted at this. Just pick it up and be able to do it. Just be able to do it, right? But when you do it for 12 years, and you just a very good fighter, and then all of a sudden you turn 30 and now you're all-time great. I'm not saying he cheated. I'm saying it's suspicious. And when I saw Chavez that night, I'm like, yo, and this is me. Like when I watch this, I'm in the military, peak shape of my life. I'm boxing at the time, right? I understand all the stuff that I have to do I ain't gonna get into the stuff that I used to do in the military. But what I will say is I was in excellent peak condition. Right? Because I was doing my military stuff and I was boxing.
Right.
At that time. Now I'm a fatty, out of shape. I look like melted ice cream. But back then, I was in peak shape. Right? Bro, there is no way. When I saw it, I was like, he on something.
Well,
it's like when I saw Lance Armstrong, bro. When I saw Lance Armstrong winning, I was like, yo, how in the world can he endure all this stuff? And then in the final stages, he looked like he just was, oh, I'm just going to do this so easily.
Well, for Chavez, and I'll give him this, he had been in brawls all the way up, from featherweight, come all the way up.
I know.
He fought Roger Mayweather twice, knocked him out in the second round the first time.
Yep.
The second time they fought for, I think it was then Chavez's, or I think because he went up. Roger had went up in weight. So I think it was for his title. And again, somewhere around in the 8th or 9th round, because Roger could hit. Yeah. God rest the dead. Roger had, but he didn't have a chin. But Roger, that right hand, he would put you to sleep. And he rolled back and he hit Chavez dead coming in.
Right.
And Chavez ate that. And
bruh.
He backed up and he was like, damn, you take a shot. You take a good shot.
Yep.
And that right there, up until that point, Mayweather's winning the fight because he's boxing, you know. When he hit him with that last right hand and he didn't move him, the fight was over.
He's like nothing, and mentally over. Just checked out. On
mentally over. He was over because he was eating. At that time, Roger was probably 1-2 hardest punches. Roger, Edwin Rosario, Boom Boom Mancini, Livingston Bramble. Those were like the really hard punches.
But one of my favorite fighters of all time, Livingston Bramble.
Livingston Bramble beat the crap out of Ray Boom Boom Mancini one night in Buffalo.
Yeah, with a bad haircut. With a
horrible haircut. Ray was just wasn't strong enough for Livingston.
Right.
Just wasn't strong enough. And Livingston just slowly but surely, with that peekaboo style, would be doing. And Ray would just be, and just ran out of gas and got knocked out. But those were the punches back then. So not to cut you, not for your Pacquiao, it's suspicious of being Pacquiao because Pacquiao comes from flyweight or junior flyweight, which is like 106 pounds.
Right.
All the way up 40 pounds more.
Right.
And still carries the punch, which is a devastating left hand.
And speed. He put on 40 pounds and got quicker. Yeah, that's the thing that
So, you know, at one point Mayweather wanted the blood testing.
Right.
Which was the Olympic testing. And for years, they wouldn't do it.
Yep.
Him and his team, they wouldn't do it. So it was one of those matchups in boxing that we didn't see because of the nonsense that we should have seen 5 years earlier.
But Pacquiao, in my mind, I don't want to sully anybody's name, but I do believe that the dude was cheating 5 years earlier.
Okay.
I mean, just to the, I'll give you an example of the same thing that you just mentioned. I saw Razor Ruddock hit Mike Tyson with a shot that should have demolished a building. But when that shot didn't phase Mike, Razor Ruddock checked out the fight. Mentally, he was gone.
Checked out. He just took.
Remember, because he named the punch. Remember,
I think what he called it, the smash.
or something, a smash punch.
He hit Michael Dokes with that in Madison Square Garden, and he damn near crippled Michael Dokes.
Yep.
He would throw it as a step back, like how NBA shooters step back with the shot.
Yep.
He would lean back left,
right.
And once he did that, which was like a big opening in his defense, but if he caught you with that, like he caught Michael Dokes in Madison Square Garden, which Mike Dokes has already finished the fight or whatever, and that's what they do. They put the old fighters in with the young lions and blah 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 blah. And
I like Michael Dokes though. Him and Ray Mercer are two of my favorites.
Mike Dynamite Dokes, and that's a fighter that, as time goes on, we'll forget. Yep. Mike Dynamite Dokes was WBA heavyweight champion at 20 years old. 23 years old.
I think he's the most physically gifted boxer pound for pound that we've seen in that generation. I'm talking about hand speed and agility.
Yes.
The only one I think that may be more talented pound for pound, not overall, because the most talented boxer I've ever seen is Roy Jones Jr. But I'm talking about pound for pound, right? Pound for pound, him and a dude named James Lights Out Tony. Pound for pound, when it comes to hand speed, bro.
Well, Tony's a better technical fighter than Roy, even though Roy beat him that first fight.
Yeah.
Easily.
Right.
But as a technical fighter, Tony's a better technical fighter than Roy.
Yeah.
Roy still can't throw a jab.
No, Roy.
He didn't care about a jab.
But he's too fast. Why would he throw a jab when his overhand is faster than most people jab?
Yeah.
Why would he? What does he care? He can hit you with an overhand. He don't have to set up his punches. He can just do it. You can't catch him. He's fast.
His speed, at that point in time in his career, his speed, he's athletically more gifted than any fighter. I'll say that.
And in better shape. And in
great. I don't know if he was in better condition. I thought Ray Leonard was the best condition. I thought Ray Leonard and
over Holyfield.
Yeah, I thought Ray Leonard was. I thought prime Ray Leonard, especially look at his body when he's going into Montreal.
Yeah,
he'd never been. 147 with ease.
Right.
At 5'10.
Right.
With ease could make that. But Mayweather has been overall the best conditioned fighter I've ever seen because he walks around
at that weight,
in just about in fight shape. Right. You may see him all the nonsense. He's partying or whatever. Doesn't drink.
His diet is crazy though.
But he was always in peak condition.
Right. And he is what you call a prodigy. He is a LeBron James type.
Absolutely.
Born to do it.
Born to it. All the uncles are fighters, the cousins are fighters. He's kind of like the Marbury of his family. He's the best out of everybody.
Right.
Out of what all of them, because remember his father was undefeated until he met Ray Leonard.
Right. He
was 16-0. And then, Ray knocked him out like in, I think it was the 6th round, something like 7th round or whatever. The father tells him, his shoulder was hurt. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, you just wasn't that good. You weren't going to beat Ray.
Yeah. And then records lied too, by the way.
Records lied, but the father could fight.
But he could fight. I would say the guy that Mayweather beat, the guy that was his idol, was it Diego Corrales? He was. I
crap out of the late Diego Corrales.
I heard him say. I heard Diego Corrales say something along the lines of when, and this is when Floyd was like 23, 22,
and they both were undefeated.
He was like, "Yo, this is the greatest boxer in the game. He might be the greatest boxer of all time." And you're like, "Wait a minute, but you're the champ."
Yeah, we forget Floyd as a lightweight before he hurt it. Before he hurt his hands.
Yeah.
You see, the Floyd as a welterweight, it took a lot for him to maintain because he's had hand troubles for the last 15 years.
Yeah.
If not more.
Yeah.
Bad hands.
Yep,
Another thing,
it's a calcium deficiency that Floyd ain't gonna talk about in public, bro. When your bones are that brittle, then you have calcium and phos. It's what doctors tell you. It's like
yeah,
these things where
because then,
that
then your hands are not meant to do that.
yes, yes,
Basically,
and the competition is not gonna let you wrap up extra pad those hands because it
no,
gives you an advantage.
no. As a fighter yourself, you know how important it is to wrap your hands
Right.
in every fight. Okay, and I'm not talking about the BS fights or whatever, but in all of the major fights, you're supposed to have someone from the opposite team in the room with you when you're wrapping your hands
Right. Yep.
to make sure that you're not using anything illegal, you're not
When
adding
money's on the
anything
line,
there because
definitely.
money's on the line. That's what
Yeah.
happened with Margarito and
Shane
Puerto Rico.
Mosley.
No, not well. Shane's trainer was the one in the room and called them out
Right.
that they were using illegal hand wraps.
Yep.
That the wraps that they were using I think it was cement laced.
Plaster of Paris.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Right.
And AD a lot. And you know what? And see, that's not a new thing.
That's an
A,
old thing.
a lot of people do that.
Yeah. That's
A lot of people do that. Because when you look at, all right, so I'm gonna give you an example. When you look at the shots that Sonny Liston was hitting Floyd Patterson with,
oh my God.
When I look at a couple of those shots, I'm like, either these are ghost shots or this man got something in his gloves. When you look at what's his name, the heavyweight champ now, Tyson Fury. When you looked at one of the shots or two or three of the shots that he hit Deontay Wilder with, there's no way Wilder should be bleeding from the air like that.
Well,
right?
With that fight in particular, right? Wilder just kept getting hit with perfectly precision punches.
Wilder's not a fighter, too, by the way.
And Wilder's not a fighter.
I hate when people say that. Like, people are like, "Oh man, he might be the..." No. Wilder is an exceptional athlete with tremendous punching power.
He should be a tight end. Yep. He should be a tight end.
Right.
And when he tried to, in that last Fury fight, he fired Mark Breland. He did whatever, which is fine. Yeah, which is not uncommon.
It's not uncommon though.
No, because fighters, that's what fighters do.
Because it's not firing. It's not firing because you're mad. It's firing because you want a different outcome.
It's either that or the money. He wants more money coming into the fight. Whatever. That's just how that works in boxing. Right. Your trainer is not going to be your trainer forever. It's a rarity.
Right.
But when Wilder tried to adapt his style and tried to box more, he looked even worse.
Right.
I'm like, that's something you should have been learning, should have been doing 15 years ago.
14, 15. Yeah.
Not at 35.
Yeah, not at 35.
Not at 35. And he kind of went into Fury's hands at that point in time because Fury is a natural boxer.
Right.
No matter how big or no matter what the package looks like.
Right.
Fury as a boxer at 6'8", what is he, 6'8", 6'9"?
Right, with like an 8-foot wingspan.
At 270, 280 or whatever, natural boxer, just has a weak chin.
Yeah.
He's going to beat Wilder 9 out of 10 times.
Right.
Notice you haven't heard about a 4 fight between him and Wilder?
Nah.
We already know.
If I'm Wilder's camp, I don't even look to fight him again because it's an awkward matchup. It's like the Knicks versus Toronto Raptors. It's an awkward matchup, and
so
I know they say styles make fights, right?
You wait for him to retire?
No, no. He should have fought Anthony Joshua. He should have fought Anthony Joshua at the time. And I'm talking about at the time.
7 years ago, which is like 7, 8 years ago. Yes.
Right. He should have fought Anthony Joshua. That is the fight that should have been made, but they dodged each other. Two superb athletes that picked up boxing, whatever. Anthony Joshua reminds me of Frank Bruno. And I know they're not the same type of fighter, but when you're talking about elite I mean, both of these dudes are in elite physical shape, right? Um, but yeah. If I was managing Wilder's career, as soon as I lost to Tyson Fury, what I would have done is got him in the ring with a expert boxer that wasn't that good, right? We call them tomato cans, right? You get him back in the ring
Mm-hmm.
with a tomato can, right? Let him build his confidence back up. Let him learn from the tomato cans. It's what they do to young boxers. You
Yes.
put them in the ring with tomato cans because the tomato can is expertly skilled at fighting, but is missing something in his game that takes him that
And
makes
he's
him elite.
right, and he's now a tomato can. He's
Mhm.
just good enough for you to practice what you've been learning
Right.
in sparring.
What Don King did with Mike Tyson, put him in with tomato cans,
Yes,
right?
for the
And
first right.
yeah, and let him bring up along against guys that are good in the ring, right? And guys that could promote fights, right? And then let Mike dominate him. And then that way when he goes in, because I think Mike's other big mistake is looking ahead to Evander Holyfield when he should have been. Listen, y'all, and I know y'all are gonna disagree, and I know this is a Knicks channel and blah blah blah. But listen, what Mike should have did instead of taking the
Shout out
Holyfield
Nick
fight
fans.
and looking past Buster Douglas, what he should have been doing is getting Riddick Bowe and Lennox Lewis in the ring. That's what I would have did it with Mike. The first one, I wouldn't have done Riddick Bowe first. I'd have did Lennox Lewis first, right? Because he was a young guy still learning his way in the ring. Lennox Lewis was like what, 21-0, 22-0 at that point,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you get in there, let him get a taste of it. And sure, Lennox Lewis probably wouldn't have wanted to take the fight, but I'm like, yo, it's now or never. And then you fight Riddick Bowe because Riddick Bowe was primed in 91. He didn't get his shot though until like what, 93? You know what I'm saying? He was primed in 91. He was ready. I'd have beat Lennox Lewis first, then beat up on Riddick Bowe, made Holyfield wait, right? And then get in there with Holyfield because at the time Mike's whole camp had turned over after Customato passed away. He's trying to find out what these new trainers are going to do. At the same time, Mike has all this turnover in this camp. And the one thing he does is immediately go out and start talking Holyfield fight and then signs up Buster Douglas for a tune-up.
Well, I think there's a few more pieces in there that you're missing.
Okay.
One, he's married to Robin Gibbons and her mother.
Yeah. And she's sleeping with Howard Stern in front of everybody.
And she's, doing whatever. The second thing is that
But he's doing whatever.
Yeah, but he's the champ.
Yeah, I understand.
I know ladies, I know it's a double standard, and I get it. I know, but we just gotta, talk the truth.
Right.
He's the heavyweight champion of the world.
Right.
Women for him, it's like changing your underwear.
It shouldn't be, but it's a fact of life.
It's a fact of life, and when you're a fighter, remember the real good fighters and so forth. When they get in the fights, they're sequestered. You're going into training camp.
Right.
You're not around your woman or women and so forth and so forth. So when you're no longer fighting and stuff, you're an animal.
You're making up for missed time.
You're making up for missed time. You're an animal. Marvin Hagler used to call his place jail.
Yeah.
And he had it like a jail.
Yeah.
Like an abandoned building, warehouse or whatever, where he used to spend 3-4 months.
Right.
With nobody, no family, no calls, no nothing, just
war.
Just focusing.
I love it, bro. I love
just
Hagler
focusing
so
on that. But back to Mike, and here's an awful truth that us as Mike fans, we don't want to look at. Mike's prime was very short. Yeah. He was done as a prime fighter by 22 years old.
Yep.
So his prime is from 18 to 22.
Right.
4 years.
His prime was taken away from him now.
Well, he helped it.
Yeah.
Whatever the cases were, we weren't there, whatever, but he was on that road to destruction. And I would see Mike dead ass in Flatbush, 2-3 o'clock in the morning, me leaving wherever I'm leaving from. Mike is sitting on a money green Benz, 2-3 o'clock in the morning in the old neighborhood,
right,
where nothing good is going to happen at 2-3 o'clock in the morning,
right,
sitting on a money green Benz,
right,
you know.
right.
But that was him. That was.
But
his
Mike
life.
is New York though. Mike is New York to his heart, man. Mike, if you watching, you could still get these, Mike.
You know, Mike, he said that, not me.
No, AD did not say
see
that.
Mike dust up a man on the airplane. This is the white boy. This is the white dude was bothering Mike, and it's like, you know, like doing like, hey, Mike, whatever. And Mike gave him like 30 seconds, I think, from the footage.
Right.
And he kept on.
Mike, you can still get these though.
And he kept
don't get it twisted, Mike.
And he kept on. And Mike gave him a whole lot of those. Mike gave him
right.
Mike treated him like how your parents would do to you in the back seat of the car. Mike got up and turned around.
Yeah. Hey, Mike ferocious, bro.
Was like, Mike, get over here. Mike, stop. No.
But the thing about Mike, though, is I think is underrated with Mike because of the way the package looks. I think Mike, pound for pound,
oh boy,
is the fastest dude, the most quick twitch dude, pound for pound that we've ever seen. Right? Like you don't see dudes at Mike at Mike's best, 5'10", 214. Yes. Mike at 214 is the most quick twitch dude. Like people talk about the power, right? But it's not about the power. See, because Ernie Shavers was powerful, right? George Foreman with Ron Lau was powerful, yes. Right? But say if I fight Ron Lau in his prime, I could see Ron Lau's punches, right?
Right.
So I can block or reverse pivot or duck or feint or whatever when I see his punches coming. Same thing with Foreman. Foreman wears you down with George Foreman is like a snow flurry. Like everything is coming so slow, but the cumulative effect will just get you out of here.
It's gonna move you.
Yeah, right. But Mike, you don't get to clinch up with Mike because he's too fast. Right? Look like pound for pound, I would say the hardest hitter I've ever seen is Ernie Shavers. Mm-hmm. And I know people disagree with me because a lot of people hadn't been in the ring.
Don't know who Ernie Shavers is.
Yeah, and they don't understand the difference between speed and power. Right? See, Ernie Shavers didn't have the speed to power ratio.
Right.
Right.
Ernie's just naturally strong, strong.
Right. See, I can last with the Ernie Shavers. He'll probably wear us down and then hit us with a shot, and eventually we'll go like chopping down a tree. Right? Mike ain't chopping down a tree, bro. Mike is going to get that power punch off so fast that you don't get to defend yourself when the punch is coming. And bro, he hit Carl the Truth Williams, and Carl the Truth Williams still, even if he looks at it on tape, still did not see that punch coming.
He still denies that he got knocked out.
Right.
I'm like, Carl.
Bro, it's on tape, bro.
Carl, tell the truth. You got knocked out.
Bro, when I was talking, and I know I say this a lot, but when I was talking to Terrell Biggs, right? I talked myself up on a butt cutting, AD. Did I ever tell you that?
Mm-hmm.
I talked up on a butt cutting, right? But I didn't know I was 22 something. That's in good shape. Feel like I had some.
You got what you asked for.
Yep. But Terrell Biggs told me, he was like, "Yo, if you think I'm fast, Mike is 70 times faster than me."
He should know. Mike said he started making woman sounds. He started making sound like a girl.
Yeah. Oh my God. Mike was so wrong for that, bro. Mike was so wrong for that, bro. I ain't even gonna hold you so I get hit by Terrell Biggs, who was probably going about 25%. He was going about 25% on me, and I was clearly outclassed.
And that's a lot.
Yeah,
25%?
my shoulder hurt for like a month after that, but I didn't let him know that. Right.
But
man, so him going at a quarter of the speed, right? Him at 100% would have got me out of the ring in 3 rounds, right?
Yeah, because he knows where he's gonna attack you.
Yeah, and he knows I'm a novice because at the time I was a novice and he was a pro, right? He was a contender for the championship, right? But him at 100% is Mike Tyson is still 70 times faster than him at 100%.
He was. Absolutely was.
Bro.
Terrell Biggs. Here's something for people who want to be
Terrell Biggs. I might say Terrell Pryor. I'm sorry, Terrell Biggs.
Terrell Biggs. You know, when you delve into narcotics as a professional athlete, it's like the sand out the hourglass.
Right.
And you don't know why your strength, you don't have that anymore. Because you think you can do both. You can't. At the end of Pernell Whitaker's career, he fell to substance abuse. You saw it there.
Yep.
Terrell Biggs, long before, you know, he'd been having substance abuse issues since high school.
Yep.
You know, in and out. And I'll say this for the Duvers and Georgie Benton. They realized, as Big One said, his reign on the top is short like leprechauns.
Right.
And he had a fight with Billy Sims, and where he won that fight on national TV with one arm.
Yeah.
He tore something, broke his collarbone in the right arm.
Yep.
Something with the right arm, and he beat Billy Sims with one hand for 10
Not the Detroit Lions running back.
No, not the great Billy, not the great Billy Sims of Detroit. And he beat him that day on a Saturday afternoon on Channel 7. And that was the fight.
Wild World of Sports.
Wild World of Sports. That was the fight that launched him into Mike Tyson. And they were like, you know what? He's not going to get any better than this. We need to match him right here, right now. At least he'll have some money. You know, because right after that fight, he backed into substance abuse and he became like a journeyman really quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really, really quick.
And let me say something about journeyman fighters too. So I fought a journeyman fighter and 90, 92. I fought a dude that had a professional record, no lie, a professional record of 50 and 40 something. Right? And that dude beat me up one ring post and down the other one. No lie, 6 rounds, bro. Up one ring post and down the other one. And the dude was telling me, as he pushed me in the corner, man, just lay down. You know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't. Because my weakness, like what people figure is a strength, was my weakness at the time. Like I had a chin at the time. Like he had hit me, bam, and you can hit it. And AD, I ever told you how I discovered I had a chin?
By getting punched in the face.
when the crowd sees you get hit and everybody goes, "Ooh," and you still standing, yeah, you got a chin. You got a chin. You know what I'm saying? So the dude hit me. I ain't gonna lie. The dude hit me like twice. Ooh. And I looked out there and I saw the concession stand and the line was longer than the concession stand. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what is So anyway, it's lessons learned, man. It's levels to this. Like those dudes that you see Mike run out of there, they are. Listen, man.
It is what it is in boxing. It's absolutely you know the dedication and so forth that you put in to it, and we don't have the same athletes in boxing the way we did 20 years ago and so forth. So
right,
that's another thing, and you know the matchmaking is off and everything else is off. But Freezie, New Year's resolution for your New York Knickerbockers, and it's only right.
So my New Year's resolution is eating right, getting back in the gym, and getting back in some type of because I'm tired of looking like Play-Doh.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to get back. I'm trying to get back in shape. The Knicks are on the other hand. The Knicks on the other hand, AD. I mentioned this on the previous show on Knicks Freestyle.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Knicks are in hunting season.
Oh God.
I think they're now that January is here, and you got about 6 or so weeks to the trade deadline, 5 or so weeks, whatever the number is.
What are they hunting?
Trae Young.
You know, the thing is with you, Uncle Freezie, and I think I've known you long enough where I could say this, you know, with such affection, Uncle Freezie, is that you're a troll.
Nah, bro.
You're a troll. You want the Knicks to do something like this.
No.
You want them to get Trae Young.
No,
you want them to topsy-turvy this whole situation to get Trae Young. Why Trae Young? Let me ask that. Why Trae Young?
My thing with Trae Young is I don't want Trae Young. Right? I think the Knicks have young guards that, given time, will be able to produce, and with a cumulative effect of Trae Young. Not one person, but I think three or four guys can produce what Trae Young produces on a nightly basis. Right? I think the Knicks front office, though, here's the clock ticking. Right? Because think about this: if they don't do anything this summer, Knicks fans are gonna be like, "Get their asses out of here."
Look at that, Freezie. We skipped over the trading deadline and went to summer.
Right, but that's my point about the trade deadline, though. I feel like they're gonna do something at the trade deadline. Mm-hmm. Because during the summer, everybody has a clean slate and everybody is in the market. Mm-hmm. So you have to strike while you have the advantage, right? It just makes sense, right? You have to strike when the market fits you the best. And right now, teams have contracts and no draft picks and all that stuff, and the Knicks have an abundance of it. Right? So it's like, so why go Black Friday shopping when you can shop during the year when you have the money? You mute it.
Freezie, you're just too reasonable. That's the problem. You're just too reasonable. You're looking at this like as with them as they have to do something. We've been saying that since Noah had the ark.
Right.
With this management, they gotta show. That's what I'm saying to Knicks fans. Let them show you something.
Okay.
Let them show you something. Let's stop. You know, and I tuned in earlier, and of course I got the pieces, bits, and and so forth. So I wasn't in the whole thing, but this feeling of they know what they're doing, they have a plan. How do you have such comfort, Knicks fans? Knicks podcasters out there, where did this management give you this comfort?
But okay, again, see, okay. So when I say this stuff, I think what you got. See, you got me twisted, right? Right now, you got me twisted. So I never said that I have faith.
Well, I'm not. I'm talking to you, but I'm talking to someone else through you.
Okay. Okay. And so the thing is I'm not a fan of it. What I'm saying is I think the Knicks front office is put themselves in a position where they feel like they gotta do it. They gotta go get a guy because their MO coming into this taking a job is we're gonna bring a star to New York. That was at least the message that I felt like they were sending to us. Was they were gonna go get a star. Right? And now that a star is coming available, I think they are gonna like. I'm not a fan of it. What I'm saying is for clarity, I believe in these kids, and I would love to see them build through the draft and get their own star. I don't think the Knicks front office is thinking the same as I am, though. I'm thinking think about it. If this team wins 43 games and say is a first round exit, how are we gonna look at this front office?
You're gonna look at them through, well, not you per se, but a lot of Knicks fans are gonna look at them like as far as its progress. And it's progress in increments that they can live with.
Right.
You see, you're gonna hear, oh, Milwaukee didn't win this, overnight, and this one didn't win this overnight, and blah 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 blah. But here's the one thing that those teams did: they secured a star. And when you secure a star, it gives you time to play with the roster.
Right.
Like I always point this out with Cuban when he had Dirk. You know how many times he turned over that roster with Dirk before they finally won the championship?
Before they got it right.
Dirk gets drafted in what year? 98?
90, yeah, something like that. Yeah.
They don't win it until what? 2011? No, 11?
Yeah,
okay.
2011 because they beat the Heatles. Yeah.
So 13 years he kept pushing with Dirk. And at all that time, Dirk was what? All NBA, this, that. Dirk never got frustrated and demanded a trade.
Right.
Cuban just kept on. Remember when they had Eric Dampier?
Yeah, I remember. And Brendan Haywood.
Right? They gave Dampier all this money from Indiana. Because right before he gets to Dallas, Knicks fans, you're going to remember this, Isaiah meets with Eric Dampier.
Yeah.
Right? All the Knicks had at the time was the mid-level, which at that time was like 5.5 or something like that. Somebody, I can't remember what station did it, but they interviewed Eric Dampier like when he was in New York after the meeting with the Knicks. And he was like, there's one thing I know for certain. They're not going to get me to sign for no mid-level. Whoop!
Right, that's over. But
not that they should have ever wanted you anyway, being that they had, the Curry and the rest of the big men that they had failed with. Getting you just didn't make any sense, But Dallas swoops in, gives him the big deal. A year or so later, Dirk is cussing him out in a post-game press conference.
Yeah.
Right? And Dallas just kept on. So when you have a star, Freezie, it makes it easier. You have a star, you can attract.
I agree with you. For that reason, I'm saying, and let me be clear with it, like because AD, what happens is we get attributed to a lot of stuff, right? But what I want to do is make sure that everybody understands where I'm coming from. I think the Knicks are gonna go after Trae Young, and I had conversations personally with people talking me into the Trae Young thing, and as I present it to you guys, don't get it twisted. Like I want to see a Trae Young type. I mean, I guess ultimately what I'm getting at is, I wouldn't do it, but I won't be mad if they did it. I wouldn't be mad if they went out and get a star, because having a star in New York is different. See, because having a star in New York, you could create an era.
Oh, you moving Brunson?
No, Brunson playing the two, they playing together. But anyway, the point that I'm getting at is the era of the 90s is not the John Starks and Oakley and Ewing era. It's the Ewing era. Don't talk to me about man, we had Xavier McDaniel. Man, Doc Rivers was nice for no. Pat Ewing was a generational talent.
Yes.
If Pat Ewing was an average player, the 90s would have looked completely different.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
What I'm saying, you got to go get a star. Do I want Trae Young? Man, listen, whatever. I want the Knicks to. I do want the Knicks to go get a star.
That is such a small backcourt, though, Freezie. I can't even fathom it.
Right.
If you're telling me you moving Brunson out for Trae Young, okay, I could live with it.
But you old school though, bro. You think shooting guards have to be 6'7"? Your small forwards got to be 6'9".
Yeah, but those guys are 6'1".
I understand.
Maybe Brunson is 6'1".
Brunson 6. Get out of here.
Maybe he's 6'1".
Get out of here, bro. You're AD, you the man, bro. I respect your opinion. If Brunson is 6'1", you and I are both 6'1".
Okay.
Brunson is 5'11" at the most.
At the most.
With them shoes on. And I can say that confidently because I've seen them in person.
I may not be on my defensive importance in today's game anymore. I'm with that. I'll give you that. Okay. But at times in the game, you have to get some stops. You got those two guys in your backcourt. I don't even understand. You might as well just say, well, you're not trying to play defense.
But I think Tibbs, if you get Trae Young and Brunson, I think Tibbs is the guy. Tibbs is the perfect guy to mask their defensive deficiencies over the course of a game, right? Tibbs is the guy that you want. Tibbs is the best defensive mind in the league, in my opinion. The only thing is, so was Buddy Ryan, and Buddy Ryan ain't won nothing. Buddy Ryan went to 4 Super Bowls as the defensive coordinator for the Purple People Eaters, right? They ran Buddy Ryan's new the 40s. Nobody knew what it was at the time, right? Right. Buddy Ryan leaves Minnesota, goes to Chicago. All of a sudden, Chicago's defense is elite. People don't remember that he took some guys off of that Minnesota Vikings defensive line and brought them to Chicago, right? Buddy Ryan with the Eagles, elite defense. Offensively and special teams, nothing. And that's Tibbs. I think Buddy Ryan might be the greatest defensive coordinator of all time. But as a balanced coach, no, thank you. I don't want him running my organization.
You don't want him running your organization, but you know what? If you put the right, let's look at that Philly Eagles team. Those late 80s, early 90s Eagles team. That team should have went to a Super Bowl. They had Randall Cunningham at the peak of his athletic powers, could jump over anything, could run. It was just, he just wanted to be off script too much. Buddy's problem is that Buddy's too much of the guys.
He's too much Tom Thibodeau.
It's too much frat house.
Oh, yeah. That too.
Tibbs doesn't give me the frat house. Tibbs gives me, I'm coach your players.
Right.
Buddy, if you remember when the Bears beat the Patriots, it's not the head coach they carried off the field.
Right.
It's the defensive coordinator that they held off his shoulders.
That was the defensive guys, though. That wasn't the offensive lineman and those guys. The offense when they got Ditka.
Right. But the love for the team, especially overwhelmingly with the defense, was for the defensive coach. And what is that team known for? It's defense.
Defense. The greatest defense of all time.
Yeah.
The 85 Bears.
That's what that team is known for.
Yeah.
So it's almost like he was the head coach. So like I said, it wasn't Ditka they were carrying off the field.
Right.
If memory serves me correct, it was the defensive coordinator.
And Mike Ditka innovated a lot in offense, but he was known as a defensive guy. Mike Ditka was a running game guy.
He's a running game guy that's just too hot under the collar.
Yeah.
Way too hot under the collar. And not just that, but when he becomes general manager of the Saints, and people don't remember that, he trades the whole draft board for Ricky Williams.
A running back
at the time, which at that time, it was starting to shift that you didn't need to draft a running back that high, let alone trading your entire draft board for him.
Right. I think Ricky Williams is a top 10 running back of all time, bro.
I think you're mad.
I think he is, bro. In terms of
In
talent.
what? In college?
No. I'm talking about so I'm not talking about numbers now. I'm talking about if I need a running back, would I prefer Curtis Martin or Ricky Williams? You got to give me Ricky Williams.
Oh my god.
I think cats like
You're
cats
a
like
madman.
Curtis Martin is the same thing as Corey Dillon in my mind. Frank Gore. I can go get a Corey Dillon out of college right now.
They don't win that first championship without Corey Dillon. The Patriots.
I understand that.
The Patriots.
I'm not saying that he wasn't important.
The Patriots don't get to that Super Bowl with Bill Parcells if it wasn't for a rookie Curtis Martin.
I understand that.
You cannot put Ricky Williams in. Here's my thing with you, Freezie, and with people who compare talented guys that have no discipline, no focus, right?
Right.
That's like, what was the running back from out of he went
Lawrence Phillips.
Okay, you could put Lawrence Phillips and Ricky Williams in the same category.
Right.
Okay, talented as all hell, right? They don't have the discipline and the focus to be compared with a Curtis Martin.
Right.
That's a slap in the face. It's Hall of Famer.
Okay. So with that said about this point, hear me out on this. If you swap out Emmitt Smith and Curtis Martin, is Curtis Martin the all-time leading rusher of all time?
Yes.
I think so too.
With that offensive line, yes.
Right. If you swap out Emmitt Smith and Corey Dillon and Corey Dillon is healthy, I think Corey Dillon is the all-time leading rusher of all time. Right?
Possibly.
Right. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. The reason why I say I put Ricky Williams in the top 10. Certain running backs are born and others are made. Right? Bo Jackson is a born running back. You don't have to. I don't care if the play breakdown. I don't care if you don't get blocking. Right? Barry Sanders. I don't care if Barry Sanders had below average blocking in his entire career. I know that. I'm a Bears fan. I watched them. Right? Eric Dickerson. Don't talk to me about Curtis Martin, Frank Gore, and somebody else all have more rushing yards than Eric Dickerson. Don't talk to me about talent level, bro.
Eric Dickerson is a better running back than them.
That's the point I'm getting at.
Easy.
That's the point that I'm getting at. Like the 5'10", 200-pound running back that stays healthy and runs a disciplined ground game. I get where you're going, right? 5'8", 5'9", 5'10", whatever.
He's not better than Maurice Jones-Drew. Okay, let's keep it a buck.
Ricky Williams
is not better than Maurice Jones-Drew. There's a lot of guys. Ricky Williams is not better than
Earl Campbell. Neither is Earl Campbell. Then.
Okay, fine. He's not better than Priest Holmes.
Yeah,
I can go down. There's guys that, as the annals time goes on, we'll forget them. Like I just mentioned Maurice Jones-Drew. When's the last time you thought about MJD?
I don't.
Great running back with Jacksonville.
Right.
1-0. Is Ricky Williams, LaDainian Tomlinson? Are you mad?
Right. Okay. Hold on. Can we say in Jacksonville? Is Jones-Drew better than Fred Taylor? Absolutely not.
I'm gonna take him, but I can see where you could take Fred Taylor.
Fred Taylor goes into the Eric Dickerson, Ricky Williams thing where there is so much talent that you can't deny their talent, bro.
But what's talent?
If they're not productive, right?
What's talent without production?
Right. Situations dictate that.
Yeah. Yes, they do. But that's not the other guy's fault who you're comparing him to. It's not his fault that he lives a life of discipline, that he takes his career to the umpteenth degree that he's not suffering from mental illness, that's not his fault. That's a part of the game. That's
Who's more talented, Curtis Martin or Freeman McNeil?
Curtis Martin.
Get out of here, AD.
Freeman's running style was prone to him why he was injured so much, because Freeman's running style was kind of like all over the place.
Bro, I've been watching the Jets for a long time, bro.
Oh, boy.
I think the best running back. Okay, the most fun running back, and I think Jets fans are crazy that they don't acknowledge it. The most fun running back to watch is John Riggins. Yes, John Riggins ran the football for the Jets.
For the New York Jets, yes, he did. Yes, he did. Now, I think he's our first 1,000-yard runner or something like that.
Right? Mm-hmm. He was in the backfield with a dude named Emerson Boozer,
yep,
who I loved, bro. As a Bears fan, I love to watch Emerson Boozer, right? But here's the thing. The Jets have a long history of great running backs. People don't acknowledge it because here lately, they've had Sean Green and all these weird running back combinations. You know what I'm saying?
The two best running seasons a Jet running back ever had in total in yards and in touchdowns.
It's Curtis Martin.
Thomas Jones.
Thomas Jones led the NFL in rushing with the Jets, right?
Thomas Jones led the NFL in rushing with the Jets one year. I think he had 14. He had 13 and 14. I think he had 27 touchdowns rushing with the Jets in 2 years, and about 2,500 yards in 2 years. For 2 years, he has the best.
Curtis Martin had a season of 16 and 10.
Yes, he did.
Okay.
I think it's the only time he ever had 10 touchdowns or double-digit touchdowns.
Right.
And Herm Edwards ran him into the ground, and he wasn't the same anymore after that.
Right.
So Curtis, I'm a Jet fan, so it's hard to tell me about the Jets, but
you don't like the Jets, bro. You can't.
I'm just upset that.
Who's the greatest receiver in Jets history? Because if you say Keyshawn over Wesley Walker,
it's the
or Al Toon.
We just lost him a couple of years ago. Oh my God, he was with Joe. Oh my God, his name is skipping me right now.
Don Maynard.
I
can't say Don Maynard.
Don Maynard was on the first 50 years. I think he's on his 75 all NFL.
Bro,
Don Maynard makes the catch in Shea Stadium, AFC Championship game, 1968-69 against the Raiders. He makes the decisive catch. And if you remember, you're a Met fan, old Shea Stadium in January with the wind swirling, he makes the greatest catch in Jets history.
I remember this.
Don Maynard. So Don Maynard he's the standard.
I'm thinking Al Toon, bro. Wesley Walker, yes. Wesley Walker is a very underrated receiver in Jets history.
Yeah.
But he's not better than Al Toon.
He also dropped 2 touchdowns against the Bills in 1981 in the playoffs.
Yeah.
2 touchdowns.
He also dropped a first down against the Cleveland Browns. And the Jets had to punt, and then the Cleveland Browns run out a goofy-looking kicker and beat the Jets off a 47-yard field. I think it's fate, bro. I think it was God telling y'all suck.
It was that, and we have a defensive end on 4th and 24 who decides to take in a late hit against the quarterback on 4th and 24. The game was over.
This is the play on Brian Sipe. This is not the play on Bernie Kosar. This is pre-Kosar.
This is okay. You're talking okay.
Right. This is
Brian
Kosar now.
Wow.
Yes. You remember? Come on, bro.
I remember Brian Sipe. He's a big quarterback back in the late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah, man. The Jets are coming down. This is like 80. I remember, man, I couldn't have been no more than 12, 13. This is like 80, right? And so I remember the goofy Cleveland Browns kicker with a jersey 3 sizes too big, with the number 10 sizes too small, and a 1 bar across the helmet.
Is that Matt Barr?
No, it's before ball. I think it was a dude before. It was a dude that probably should have been selling insurance. No
Yeah,
lie. He
that's what.
kicks the ball so far away from the goalpost, and the wind blows it back through the upright. And when I saw that, I was like, the Jets are cursed.
For a
Because
long
if that
time.
was the Jets
Yeah,
kicker, if that was the Jets kicker, that gust would have blew the ball all the way over
absolutely.
to the. You know what I'm saying?
Would have never made it.
When you
That's
watch stuff like that, yo, you like the Jets are cursed, bro.
when you know what, in any sports, when you build an organization, Freezy, and it takes a lot to win.
A lot.
Okay, but you have to have people at the top that they look at it like Exodus.
Right.
This is where we're going.
Right.
You understand? This is where we're going.
Right.
And if you're not rocking with us, like I was watching, I don't know if you've seen this movie called Wolf of Wall Street.
Right.
Right? There's a scene in there somewhere where they're about to go, public, their stock.
Yeah.
And
About to put the IPO available.
right. Exactly. They're about to put the IPO out. And one of the characters in there, like a real dude, he turns around, he's noticing it's like it's the biggest day of our company. And there's a dude in there cleaning his fish tank. And the biggest day that they're about to go, one of the workers is in there cleaning his fish tank. My man went over there and was like, yo, on the biggest day, whatever, you out here cleaning your fish tank? It's like, all right, cool. Hold on a second here. He grabbed the fish tank, took the fish out of the water and ate the fish.
Right. Because that's what wolves do.
And fired him. Get the out of here with that nonsense.
Right.
Why? Because this is where we're going here today. And you're worried about cleaning your fish tank on a day when we're going this way.
Right.
And that's what winning organizations do. You
Right.
cut bait. You may like the person. He may even be your family member.
Right. Hey man, I agree with you. But you know what I don't like though? I don't like how the Jets gave New York City to the Giants. You remember in the early 80s, New York was a Jets town. You remember how bad the Giants used to be in the early 80s?
The Giants didn't make the playoffs for 17 years straight.
Right.
17 years. That's from 1965 until they got Lawrence Taylor.
Right. And the funny thing is I talked to Harry Carson, and I know I say this a lot, right? But Mr. Harry told me that they called him. He was a defensive end at South Carolina State, right?
Mm-hmm.
He says he walks and they call him. They draft him. They call him like, we don't want you to play defensive end. You're a little bit too little. We want to put you in the middle. He's like, yo, I never played middle linebacker before, right? And so they have these chairs lined up. It's 4 chairs on one side and him on the other. And so in those chairs, this is the coaching staff. It's Bill Parcells, Marty Schottenheimer, Bill Belichick, and
was it Ray Perkins? I think Ray Perkins.
Yeah. So it's Ray Perkins, Bill Parcells.
He's the coach at the time.
Marty Schottenheimer and Bill Belichick.
Right.
And they're talking about how they're going to move him to middle linebacker, and they talk him through the game plan. And so the game plan is he starts his first NFL game against what quarterback? Take a wild guess. AD, take a wild guess against what quarterback?
I'm going to say Danny White.
Fran Tarkenton.
He
starts his first NFL game against Fran Tarkenton. And you remember how you say some names are lost to history?
Lost.
Fran Tarkenton is one of those names.
He's original scrambling quarterback.
Yep.
One of the originals. He goes to 4 Super Bowls.
The original Steve Young is who did Fran Tarkenton.
Yeah, the original Steve Young loses 4 Super Bowls. Was it 3 or 4? They get the 3 or 4?
4. And a couple of them was absolutely not his fault. The Chuck Foreman fumble. He's like, what?
See, when you don't win, mind you, look at that front 4. That front 4 has MVP Alan Page.
Yep.
Marshall. They were called what? The Purple People Eaters.
Yep.
There's a nickname that you don't get anymore. The entire defensive line has a nickname.
You're right.
The
I don't.
Steelers,
Think. And for
steel curtain.
for the money though, I don't think that front four is the greatest of all time. I think it's the Jets.
No,
Yes.
no,
Yes.
gosh, no.
Yes.
Not when the Steelers
Even
had the steel curtain.
the steel curtain is not the best defensive line.
Oh my God! I mean,
let me. Can I at least throw some qualifiers out there, man?
Yes.
Okay. So we say the steel curtain because they have a cute nickname, and their team won championships, right?
Yes.
But are they better than the Rams defensive line with Deacon Jones and Merlin Olsen and all of them? No,
probably not.
No,
probably not.
Come on.
But they're right. They're in the conversation. Not the New York Sack Exchange.
Come on, man. Don't do that.
I love Klecko. I love Lions.
You love Abdullah.
Yeah, all of them.
Gastineau.
Gastineau wasn't good against the run.
No, but the thing is that Jets defensive line is what every modern NBA team does in the NFL now. A fast, quick, strong guy off the edge to create pressure. Right. When you look at the Steelers defensive line, you know what they did? Only thing they did was Mean Joe Green lined up cat corner on the center.
Yeah, but you got to be able to. You see, when it comes to the line of scrimmage, and we're talking about the defensive side now of the line of scrimmage,
right?
You have to be able to be dominant in the biggest games.
Right.
They were not dominant in the big.
No,
the Jerome Brown, Minister of Defense, Pitts, they were better to me than the Jets.
That defensive line had Mike Golick on it. Get out of here, bro. Y'all can't.
But Jerome Brown and the Minister of Defense, that makes up for everything else. Because that
Jets defensive line had zero weakness. That Eagles line had Mike Golick on it, bro.
Yeah, but hold on here. I like those guys. They were good. Their stars were.
Abdul was probably out of all four. Abdul probably was the lesser of them, but he wasn't a bad player. He was a very good player.
He was a good player. Marty Lyons was the less. See, Marty Lyons he's the tackle. He's for the run protection.
Right.
He could rush too, loyal jet and all of that. But to me, you got to be dominant in those big games. You know what I mean? Like AJ Dewey shouldn't be the name that we remember in '81.
Yeah, I know. I knew you were gonna say that.
I mean, they're both playing in the same field conditions, in the slop, in the mud.
What was their quarterback? Craig Woodley?
No, their quarterback was Richard Todd.
No, the Dolphins.
Oh, I think was it Woodley?
Craig Woodley, something like that. He came over. Yeah.
It might have been Woodley. I'm not sure. I can't remember. I just remember, AJ Dewey gets what?
6'3", Hollywood, handsome, strong arm. That sound familiar?
You talk about any other big white quarterback. That's generally the outfit. But to me, like Aaron Donald proved who he was in last year's Super Bowl. Because when the game was on the line, okay, it didn't matter if they had 3 guys there or 4 guys there blocking him. He sealed it. I'm the best defensive player in the game. It's my moment now.
Right.
Okay. And this is what I need to be, vaulted in that rarefied Bruce Smith, Deacon Jones, those guys. And he did it. And when you're that good as a defensive on the line, in the line of scrimmage, you don't get to say, well, remember, this is one of my things against my God, his name, Minister of Defense. His name is skipping me right now.
Reggie White.
When Reggie White was with the Packers those first couple of years, he had Sean Jones, Santana Dotson. They had a very good front line, right? Dallas's offensive line used to smack them around.
Right.
Used to smack them silly. Him, Reggie White included.
Right.
Couldn't do nothing with Dallas's offensive line. right? So until he gets his moment in the Super Bowl against the Patriots, when it was time for him to lock it down, when he's hip tossing, left tackles, right tackles all over the place.
Right.
See what I'm saying? The Jets don't, those guys don't have that. And I love Klecko. Klecko's the only person who's ever been voted All-Pro on 3 different positions on the line.
Okay.
Nose guard, tackle, end.
Right. AD, I get what you're saying, bro. Right, I get what you're saying. But there are defensive, man. I'll give you an example. We what do they call the Rams? What do they call the Rams defense?
You mean with Jack Youngblood and them?
No, I'm talking about Merlin Olsen and Deacon Jones.
Oh my God! What's that? Fearsome Foursome.
The Fearsome Foursome. You see how they had a nice nickname, bro?
Fearsome Foursome.
Bro, I think just because here's the thing. We could say that defense was relentless, right? But the Jacksonville Jaguars had a defensive line that I think was comparable with John Henderson, Stroud, Tony. I forget his name, but he wore number 90 for them. And I think all of them everybody on the defensive line had like 10 sacks.
Was that the year they beat Denver?
Yeah.
That's
exactly
when they're the wild card. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I also think the NASCAR package from the Giants with Strahan, Kiwanuka, Justin Tuck,
KGB.
Yeah.
Dominant.
That's what I'm saying. That's why when people say the steel curtain, I'm just not ready to say that this one defensive line was that much better than because if you forget.
Don't mean a thing if you don't got that ring. Do up.
It don't mean a thing if you don't have a quarterback.
Yeah, but the team was built around the defense first.
Okay.
See, we forget they used to call Terry Bradshaw an idiot.
He was an idiot. Have you ever seen his career numbers?
Yeah, but look at him in the big game. Look at him in the big game. You know what I mean? Look at those catches by Lynn Swan and so forth. There's somebody was making them, and he wasn't throwing passes up for whatever. Like Terry Bradshaw, Big Terry, in the 70s, 4 Super Bowls.
Terry Bradshaw finished his career with 212 touchdowns.
That's fine,
right? And 210 interceptions.
That's fine.
And he is a Hall of Famer.
Joe Namath has more interceptions than touchdowns.
Yes, you are absolutely correct.
And he is a Hall of Famer, and rightfully so.
And
because that's Joe, that's Terry.
God.
We never thought I remember Terry Bradshaw said another team will never win 4 Super Bowls again. At that time, I'm a little kid. I'm like, you damn right.
Right. 4
in a decade? How many teams have done that? 1, 2?
I'm gonna say this, and Raiders fans are gonna be like, no, don't start
50th anniversary.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my God, my man passed away. Like 3 days before the 50th anniversary. Franco Harris. Rest in peace to Franco Harris, who was a part of that. That Steeler dynasty. Like, I'm sure the NFL had to be kicking themselves in the head. They're about to do a 50-year celebration, and the dude who is, you can't etch him out of that play. Right. He dies 3 days before the anniversary.
Yeah, it's sad, man.
Yo, somewhere the NFL, I'm sure the NFL executives are walking around cursing God like right? Because them everything they have planned. They probably don't have his family scheduled to come in. Yeah. This, that, the third, and like, what? Franco did what? He done up and died?
Right. But AD,
where's this in the script?
Just basically what I'm getting at is I like to give everybody their flowers for being great. And I think the Jets had a great defense, and nobody. And when we have these conversations,
have no understanding of greatness.
Okay.
You put Ricky Williams in the same breath with
That's
Eric
Curtis Martin.
Dickerson.
No, it's Curtis Martin.
With Curtis Martin.
Right.
As a top 10 running back of all times.
Frank Gore.
That's what you did.
Corey Dillon.
That's what you did.
Yeah.
Okay? That's what you did.
Yeah. Curtis Martin was an accumulator.
Oh, God.
Curtis Martin was not great. Curtis Martin was very good. Curtis Martin was not Eric Dickerson. He was not Walter Payton. He was not Jim Brown. He was not Barry Sanders. But when you look at his numbers,
how does Ricky Williams get to be mentioned with Curtis?
No. I'm saying if I'm starting just off pure physical ability,
okay.
Right? Pure
that's
physical ability.
Now you're changing the argument now.
No. I just never got to get to clarify.
Oh,
if I'm building a team, I like the Ricky Williams type running backs, the Earl Campbells, the running backs like that over the Curtis Martin type running backs. Because I think
how much marijuana are you planning on having on site for Ricky Williams? Because you know he needs to smoke in the morning, in the afternoon, before practice, after practice. You know, okay.
Birthday cake, Gorilla Glue.
Okay, Gorilla.
Yeah.
You realize the man gave up his football career to smoke marijuana, right?
I understand.
I
understand.
I am a partaker of the natural herb myself, but
Right.
I don't think I'm giving up no millions and millions of dollars for no marijuana.
There's a deeper thing to it. I ain't want to get into it. We don't have enough time.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Okay.
But my thing is
Ricky's story. But go ahead.
But my thing is, like for instance, when I talk in the chat to Chicago Bulls fans, they say the Knicks suck because because the Bulls beat them every year in the playoffs.
Except one.
Right. Well, you know, I mean, I get it. The non-Jordan year. It don't count. I understand.
It's fine.
But AD, what I'm saying is you can be great and not get the ring.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I think it's unfair that Knicks fans talk about a defensive error when it was not a defensive error. It was a Pat Ewing error.
It's all we have to hang our hats on.
Nah, but I'm saying,
Knicks fans have to have their hats on.
But AD, think about it. And I mean, think about this just real quick before we get out of here, right? Knicks fans hang their hat on defense.
Yes.
Whatever star enters the conversation, we're like, well, he can't play defense, or oh, he's a great defender. But defense is a part of the conversation, right?
Yes.
But what we don't recognize is that when we were winning, a star was helping us win. Because if you take out Pat Ewing and put Mutombo on the Knicks, a great defensive center, are the Knicks any good? No.
They're good, but they're not that.
Right. And Mutombo was a great defensive center.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But Pat Ewing carried the franchise, bro. A star carried the franchise, man.
Okay.
Right? Like even with Clyde and Willis Reed, people talk about defense, right? But we didn't get good until we added stars. One became a star in Clyde Frazier, and we traded for another star to win our second championship. But Dick Barnett and all of those guys were there for the first championship.
Yes.
Right? But we had stars that played together. That's why we won, not just because of defense. And now the Knicks have a defensive-minded coach, and everything is focused on defense, right? And we can't win nothing, and we mad now because our defense is not enough.
Well, I don't know if that's the only reason why we're mad. We're mad because we haven't, they just haven't won. They haven't been in anything exciting. Freezie?
Because we don't have a star, and that's why.
But a lot of Knicks fans don't see the need
for a star
to get the star. Freezie, we've sat on this podcast here for the last year. Okay, what this first day into the year, what we should have did was to review the last year, because
Right.
the last year would be nothing but talk with why they failed to get Donovan,
Right.
why
We
they
can
failed to
still
get a
do that.
star, right?
We can
But
still
how
do
many
that.
Knicks fans that you've heard, that you've hosted, talked about, that were happy that they didn't make that move?
A lot of people, bro.
A lot of people, because in their minds, you can draft a Donovan Mitchell. Okay? In their minds, you're going to draft somebody that's going to drag your team year in, year out, and get better in each year. Playoff numbers, regular season numbers, right? 24 years old, 25 years old, or whatever. You know how many fans I would hear? It's madness.
So you want to do the year in review? Year in review?
What are we reviewing?
The Donovan Mitchell trade.
The failed the failed opportunity that this Knicks management has done. Sure, why not? How long is that going to take?
I wouldn't mind doing it. I just want to be prepared for it. Also,
absolutely, we need to be prepared to drag our Knicks fans down that road. But they know what it is. They remember.
They know what it is, bro.
The year wasn't that long. We're still here. You at some point said a little earlier that, and what happens if they go to the summer?
All they do is add Josh Hart.
As of today, the summer is 6 months and 20 days away.
Right. Bim.
That's 201 days till summer.
Yep.
Okay.
Right.
So now we're gonna take this conversation and drag it on, and and the apologists, that they'll find some reason as to why it didn't work out, as to why they didn't improve the team. See, that's where I lose it. That's where when I hear these guys are trying to tell me why my circumstantial evidence is not right, but they can sit there and be like, well, yeah, because ownership has showed you that he will let somebody rock for 5 years.
Bro.
That's Dolan has shown you that he's gonna let somebody rock for the 5-year contract. Can you tell me the last one that had that distinction?
Yeah, this is frustrating, bro. I feel you. Let me shout out my man Damon from We Talk Hawks TV is in the building. Shout out to our brother. That's the big homie. Shout out to Damon. So we have a thing, man. I love watching the We Talk Hawks channel. Because they kind of rock like us, and we got like a homie thing going on with them, and we talk Mavs, kind of like a small network thing going on.
We talk Hawks.
Salute to
how's
them guys.
Nate McMillan doing down there?
AD, you got to come. AD, one time this week, you've got to come with me to go hang out with Damon and them on We Talk Hawks TV, bro. So you can get an outsider's perspective about the Knicks. Okay. But so you can also see what it's like when fans of other teams get to chopping it up, bro. We got to do it, bro.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we got to do it, man. Just hanging out with them dudes, because I think sometimes as Knicks fans, we forget that other fan bases are smart and passionate too. We think we have all the answers, but so does other fan bases feel like they have all the answers.
Other fan bases, look at Atlanta, right? Atlanta's never been, outside of the Braves, a real sports haven, because a lot of Atlanta folks, are transplanted New Yorkers, are transplanted, tri-state area people,
right?
Or vice versa. That's where the kin folks come from, right? So that relationship is naturally there. When you go to a Hawk game, when you go to a Miami game, you're going to see a lot of New York. You go to a Charlotte game, you're going to see a lot of New York Knicks fans there.
Memphis?
Not Memphis, Charlotte.
No. Hear me out. Hear me out. Bro, when you go to, first of all, Memphis has the most hood state. Bro, I don't feel safe in Memphis, bro. I don't feel safe in Memphis.
That's the land of Elvis.
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
That's Nashville, man.
That's Graceland, baby. What are you talking about? Hound dog.
But what I will say this though, to your point, to the point that you're making, right? There are New Yorkers everywhere, right? The only place that I go that's not mainly that is Memphis. And Memphis gets so ghetto so fast, bro.
Oh god.
Like yo, you go to they go on like a 10-0 run, and they start doing that chant, whoop that trick.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Whoop that trick.
The little I'm telling AD. Don't lie. You see all the little kids, 7 years old with like a Zach Randolph jersey or something. They in there talking about whoop that trick. You know what I'm saying? And it's
you
like
mean from the movie with Hustle and Flow?
Yes.
Hustle and Flow?
Yes. That's where they get it from. That's what they get. And it's the most hood and puzzling thing at the same time that you ever see. You see the little babies out there, they saying, whoop that trick, whoop that trick, whoop that. And you're like, what is going on in here? Yeah, but we talk Hawks TV says, bruh, don't get me started about Nate and the ownership. Don't get them started. And there's the official invite. Come on over. You know what I'm saying? There's the official invite. So AD, I'll go ahead and hook it up for us. Before we get out of here, Paris Duggar, thank you for the generous contribution. Paris Duggar says Don is doing what with a bomb squad in Cleveland? Really? Come on, homie. AD, you got something to say, but you want to say something before we get out of here?
I mean, with Atlanta, let me just touch on Atlanta real quick. 2 years ago, when they brought in Nate McMillan, Nate was the talk of the town. They brought him in halfway in. He helped them get to the playoffs and so forth. And they have an abundance of young talent. At that time, Cam Reddish was on the team. They didn't have DeJounte Murray yet and looked like they was, heading in the right direction. They made a move that I would have made. I would have traded for DeJounte Murray, of course, to match him with that backcourt, because why do we want to stand still in that same position? So where it went wrong with them, we're not on a day-to-day, so I would love to chop it up with We Talk Hawks TV to find out from their perspective where did it go wrong.
I'll link up with them.
But with the Knicks, and in closing, my New Year's resolution for them, pick a direction and go there.
Right.
If you're trying to get to the playoffs, get to the playoffs.
Right.
Let's not have this conversation, which I know in my heart we're going to have. You're going to be 9 seed, 10 seed, miss the play-in, blah, 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 blah. Like the progress, like the whatever. Where do we go? Sell us a bag of dreams. Da-da-da-da. Knicks apologists all day, all night.
Right.
Pick a direction. Okay. That's all I'm saying. Pick a direction and go there, because your position today, a year from now, it's not going to be the same position if you continue down this path. I can tell you, Orlando's coming.
If DC gets a point guard, bro, if they mess around and get them a point guard, we're in trouble.
Well, if DC was to be in the championship contention before the Knicks, we should really think about just totally divesting from this situation.
Yep. And so for the money, DC is one of the best places to watch a basketball game.
I get it. I'll give it to you. But if DC, the Wizards' former Bullets, win before the Knicks, that's like Atlanta. If Atlanta wins before the Knicks,
Atlanta's not going to win. Atlanta's franchise, no disrespect to We Talk Hawks TV and all that, Atlanta has always been the franchise that's loaded with talent and can't figure out what to do with it. Always. They always have somebody special, bro. You like
because no one is really paying attention down there, or that's what management was kind of like hoping for. It's like, all right, there's a lot of things going on in Atlanta. They're still reverberating from the 1996 Olympics.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
That's what New Yorkers say. Okay.
Yeah, it's still, you know what I mean? I mean, it's still a lot of other things besides the Hawks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Dominique Wilkins was there for years.
Yeah.
And they couldn't do nothing with him.
Kevin Willis.
Couple of decent moments in the playoffs.
Right.
But
they've always had talent, bro. They've always had talent. Even when they were not talented, they had a bunch of talent. Right?
There's people killing them right now because they traded Trae Young for Luka.
Right. And they shouldn't.
At that time, how were you to know? I remember seeing Trae coming out of college that year. I think he averaged 27 and 10. A friend of mine was like, he's too small. He ain't never going to be da. Like, the Knicks should be trying to be in this maneuver to get Trae Young.
Right. But we wanted Kevin Knox.
Woo. Wow. That was almost the first throw up for the new year. I had to catch myself.
Good job, Uncle Freezie.
I had to catch myself there. But you wanted Kevin Knox. You didn't want to Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. You wanted Kevin Knox.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna beat Kevin. I'm not gonna beat up Kevin anymore. I've done that.
It was fun. It's too much fun to do it.
It's too much fun. Hoodie Kev is not here to save him. So
we
good with that.
Yeah, man. So yeah, man. All right, man. I'm gonna get out of here and go watch my Bears lose today. How about you?
I'm gonna watch the Jets help solidify their place at 4:00 against Seattle. March to the playoffs.
Let's go Seahawks.
That's what we're doing. On that note, Uncle Freezie, Happy New Year again. Happy New Year to you and your family and everybody been smoking. Happy New Year to all of our Knick fans and non-Knick fans. You know, like we talk, you know, Hawks TV and everyone out there. Hopefully everybody had a safe New Year coming in. And I wish you all nothing but a prosperous New Year. Godspeed.
Yeah, man. I need the catchphrase before we get out of here. I can't leave without it.
Look for me in the whirlwind, baby. Garvey.
Them. All right, y'all. Peace, y'all.